Good morning, everyone. This is Dusty Ridge Ranch, just south of Winnipeg. We're a sheep farm. My name is Sherry Bosma, and this is my wife, Sherry. Ours is a family farm here, and we manage about 250 ewes. Ewes are mother sheep that we lamb several times a year. And we welcome you here. We'd like to take you on a tour and show you exactly what we do here. This first group of sheep that we're going to look at are mamas with their 2-week-old babies. They have lots of fun. We also have dogs. There's a certain risk from predators, so we take steps to prevent our sheep from being eaten by coyotes and wolves. Big dogs help defend against predators. We send this llama out with the sheep. The llama can see lots, and the llama will herd and guard the sheep to keep them safe. In this area, we're showing you how we keep our sheep warm and dry. Sheep don't worry too much about being warm because they have their own wool coats. This building is a large roof building. It's the same temperature as outside, but it's never rainy and it's never snowy and it's never too hot in this room. And the sheep are comfortable with this environment. In order to help keep them comfortable, we use straw for bedding so they can lay on it to keep them nice and warm and dry. You'll see in the middle of the pen, there are drinkers, the blue ones, and at the far end is the yellow one. That's fresh water that's flowing all the time for the sheep to drink. Sheep will drink between 8 and 10 liters of water a day, which is like 2 big milk jugs and another half of one. Ewe lambs can have their first babies when they're about 12 to 13 months of age. And then they can have lambs about every 8 or 9 months after that as they get older. This is what we call barn 1. This is the area that we use for several different purposes. Maybe the most important one is likely lambing, because this room we can keep at a similar temperature most of the year. We can keep this room from not getting too hot in the summer because of those very large fans you see at the back end that create a nice cool wind tunnel in here. As well as you'll see there's a little black fan on the wall that we use when it's very cold. The animals, especially these wool sheep, produce a lot of heat, but they also produce a lot of humidity from their breath. So the heat exchanger and the fans are used so that we can circulate the warm, moist air out and bring in cool, fresh air. 0 or +3 or 4 is a fine place to have lambs born. It's a perfectly comfortable environment for them. And they'll be in here in little individual pens with their mums for a day or maybe 2, and then their wool grows very quickly. And then those lambs are able to go out into the big barn where we saw the lambs a few minutes ago. Mature ewes typically have 2 lambs. 3 is not uncommon. We have had 4. And younger ewes, ewe lambs, would more likely have singles or twins. In this picture, you're going to see 4 bottle babies. These are ones that were born triplets. And because the mums have only 2 teats or drinking nipples, then we always take one and raise it in this bottle pen here with this pail. The bottle babies typically will drink milk for about 30 days, a month or month and a half, and then they'll go back with their mums and their brothers and sisters for the second month of their life. Lambs are with their mums for about 60 days, 2 months, and then they're weaned. And then lambs will be grown on our grower rations until about 100 days, which is the age at which they would be sold and go on farther into the meat market.
With our lambs, as soon as they're born, we give them tags. If I have a lamb that potentially isn't feeling very good, I can quickly scan the lamb, and then I'm able to go and check her mama to make sure that she has enough milk in her udder. So the tag tells me exactly where she belongs, so I can keep track of that.
This is our multi-purpose room. This is a room that we can keep at a comfortable working temperature all year round for people. And this is where we do all our management jobs. This is a place where we can bring our sheep in. This is what's called the tub. So the sheep would all come in this way, and then they can rotate around and they go down through our handling system for any jobs that we need to do. If we have to put in new ear tags for identity purposes, or this is where we bring the sheep if we have to shear them, or give them pedicures, trim their feet, all the different things, vaccination that we have to do to keep them healthy. All those jobs can be done in this room. Our sheep here eat a fairly specific diet. The mums with their babies have the highest nutrient requirement because they have to look after themselves and feed their babies, and they produce a lot of milk to help their babies to grow. What I've put out today is the amount that a typical mother sheep or ewe would eat each day. So she would have this amount of straw, this hard, heavy, fibrous type product, as well as this hay. These are important ingredients to help fill the sheep, as well as to make the rumen. The rumen is the first stomach, and it is the big vat that chews up and regurgitates and comes back up and chews their cud. And this is what makes the whole stomach turn and keep everything working. The other primary ingredient we're using here is a fiber pellet. Again, we go back to recycling and reusing. This is a pellet, it's a byproduct of the malting industry. So this is a product that is not useful to people, but is a very high protein, high fiber pellet. Along with that, each of these ewes would eat 35 grams of this vitamin and mineral premix. This is your 1-a-day multivitamin. That's about how much that would be. As well, they need calcium to keep bones strong and healthy and for producing milk. This is enough feed right here for one mother ewe to look after feeding her twins. These are the baby food pellets that the little lambs are eating. This is a special vitamin, mineral, protein, energy, and grain compound that is everything a baby needs to go along with his mother's milk to make the baby grow quickly and healthy. All energy comes from the sun. The sun provides energy for the grass to grow. The grass grows, the sheep graze the grass, and it provides energy and nutrition for the sheep. The sheep grow and they get big, and they produce meat and milk, which is nutrition for people. The manure from the sheep comes back to refertilize the grass again. It's the carbon cycle, it's the energy cycle, but it all comes from the sun. We use our meat from sheep in terms of lamb chops and ribs and sausage as a source of protein for people, for building and improving tissue, building strong muscles and bones in our human nutrition. Lamb meat is a great source of B vitamins for blood, heart, and brain health, zinc for rebuilding body tissue, and iron for healthy blood.
My name is Anna Hunter. I am a sheep farmer, and I also own Longway Homestead wool. So we process wool from raw all the way to finished goods. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens once sheep have been sheared and what happens with the wool after. So sheep are generally sheared once or twice a year. So as you can see, we've got the fleece of one sheep, and we call it a fleece after it's been shorn. And the first thing we do is we assess the quality. So we're going to take out some of the really dirty parts, the parts that are filled with hay or straw or manure, because when we're working with wool, we really want to capture the best quality wool that we can. The next step is scouring. So scouring is the process of washing the fleece. And you can't feel it, but wool is filled with a greasy substance called lanolin. Lanolin is incredible. It protects the sheep's skin. It's almost waterproofing for the sheep. Lanolin is also super useful in various products like moisture, creams. The next step is called carding, and we're essentially combing all the fiber so that all the fibers are in one direction. This is wool after it's been carded, so it's nice and clean. Compare it to what it looks like when it's dirty. You can tell how clean it is. The next step to processing it so that we can actually use it for our textiles and our clothing is to add some twist. So we just simply add twist with our machinery, or we can do it by hand, and it makes it a strong fabric. The next final step is called spinning. So this is spun yarn, and this is what we create from the raw wool. And then this can be used to either knit or weave into clothing. So to give you an example, this fleece right here is probably about 15 pounds of wool, and out of that we could get maybe 5 full-sized sweaters, or we could probably get about 35 toques. So one of the really incredible things about wool, and this makes me really hopeful for the future of our climate, is that wool is 50% carbon. So what this means is we can capture carbon from our atmosphere into the grass that the sheep consume and turn that into energy which they use to grow wool. So we can actually help reverse the effects of climate change when we wear wool.